Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to address some of the loot drops that we've been seeing lately, and this is stemming from the video that I made on I think Monday or Tuesday or so regarding the state of the game. And some people had been saying the game is dying and all that stuff, and I talked about there being a higher frequency of skill drops in the game. And I did also make some statements that, were to the effect that the developers are obliged to actually do right by the community and making fixes and addressing concerns, even though sometimes it takes a lot of time. But the reason they have that pressure is because of the competitive market of video games. They want their game to still be relevant, even when other games are coming out in the fall and even in the next coming, months. And so the developers are going to be addressing these concerns. And to my surprise, the state of the game from yesterday actually confirmed a lot of the things I'd been suspecting. I was making a video trying to address these drop rates, but I didn't release the video yet because I kind of sensed that the state of the game may address these issues, and it actually did. And so I'm really excited. And I just wanted to just put this out there that these new drops that we're getting are probably as a response from the community about skills not being viable. And so with what we saw from the state of the game yesterday, if you didn't watch it, I clipped it in another video, check here, and you'll be able to see that the skills are getting an amazing overhaul. The developers didn't want to call it an overhaul, but that's what I'm going to call it, because currently the way skills are, they don't seem to have the amount of payoff that damage builds, in the sense of gun damage builds, actually provide. And so this is exactly where the developers came from. They came from the perspective of, okay, how well do weapon damage, builds do versus how well the skill damage builds do? And when they did that comparison, their job was to close the margin of difference between how effective your AR 2 million DPS build will be versus somebody who's running maybe a turret or a bomb raider, I forgot, UAV, is that what it is? Drone, okay. So they wanted to close that gap, and I think they've actually successfully done some aspect of that revamp. And coming very soon, we're going to see a PTS that actually has those changes. And so my encouragement to a lot of people who are getting these drops, if you're interested in skill builds, go ahead and keep them, because with the frequency right now, I think when people start to see these skill builds actually show up, and people are making their versions of them, even currently, some people's skill builds currently, the way they are right now, seems like they're going to get a buff just from when the update rolls over. So skill power players are going to see a huge gain in their current builds and their current investment. And this is all going to happen without a nerf to any of the weapon or the current meta that we have right now. So skill power builds are being invited into the game to sit at the table of those builds that actually do very well. And so if you're looking towards a skill build, or you've ever thought about it, go ahead and save your build. Maybe you make another character, get the character to like level 5 or something, and you can store about 30 items in there, which is good enough for you to be able to do a skill build if you get something that's a very good roll, because I've noticed that the numbers and the rolls on them are actually pretty high. Also, cooldown reduction is going to be changed to skill haste, which skill haste used to be a stat that came from the Division 1. And so again, we're seeing this design philosophy from 3 years of working the Division 1 and making the Division 1 a polished experience needs to be imported into the Division 2 to make it better, because it's not like the old Division 1 players are just always, shouting the Division 1's praises all over the place. It's because Division 1 went through the crucible, literally, to be the game that it is, and a lot of the things in the Division 1 are just straight up gold, and there is no reason to not bring those things into the Division 2's ecosystem. And so this is where we are, and I genuinely think that it's going to be a process to get this game to where it needs to be. Now, further concerns are from an article that was done by Kotaku, where they interviewed Yannick, and some questions and some of the answers that he gave, may have been interpreted by the community in different ways. So I want to play the pacifist in this scenario. So with the way the developers and the community have actually come to know each other, it's been a rough relationship for the past few years. And so the developers, Yannick did mention in that interview that they tried to release the game in the best possible way that they could have released it. And so some people interpreted that as, so they knew that the game was broken before they, released it, or they knew the game was unfinished before they released it. However that may have sounded to you, I just wanted to be the person that said, okay, well, there were indications from the beginning of the game where some content creators actually put out some very valid criticisms, but a lot of the community shut them down. And so anybody who shut them down at that point that came full circle around to complain have themselves to blame. You have yourself to be held accountable. In my video, when I made the video, the Division 2 will do well, I made a video regarding that. That video got a lot of positive response, and that was from the hardcore Division 1 community. We said we're going into this game with a lot of things that we do not know, and we are ready to experience the game together. We're ready to go ahead head on, and we do not care how the experience is because we've always enjoyed the game. And so if I have a positive outlook, some people say it's because I'm trying to get an in with the developers. Trust me, if anybody tries to fly me anywhere, I'm not going. I hate traveling, I hate flying, and I love my family. I'm not going to go anywhere. If you're not going to be able to do what you want to do with me from a distance, no worries. When your game shows up, I'll play it and I'll tell the community. I'm giving my own positive opinions because I've realized that the way the Division community can go, things can get really negative and really toxic real fast. You're talking about somebody who's been in this community for a long time. I've seen people wishy-wash, flip positions, do things that are just absolutely absurd because they want the game to actually go their way. And that's not what I'm not interested in that. I just know, and somehow I do know this because of the way market pressures are, the game is going to get better. Now, the big question mark, though, is PvP. And trust me, I would like to speak on PvP, but I don't PvP. And I want to leave that to the PvP community and to the people who actually do PvP because they have a better experience in that area. I don't. And so this is where I wanted to land my video. Regarding the skill drops, make sure that as a player who's interested in skill builds, you're saving those items. If you don't care about skill builds and you just want your weapon damage builds, then that's fine as well. There's nothing wrong with that, but this is just something that I wanted to put out there. All right, that's all I have for today. Thank you guys very much for your time and your audience, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace.